Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Because without taking care of your own growth and well-being, everything else you value can quietly slip away before you even realize it. Don't wait until you lose everything to realize that the most important person to invest in, protect and believe in, is yourself. That is where all lasting success begins. What if the reason you feel stuck isn't because of others, but because you haven't focused on yourself? What if the moment you stop paying attention to your own growth is the moment you start losing control of your life? What if the habits, choices, and thoughts you ignore today become the biggest problems tomorrow? You don't have to wait until everything falls apart to make a change. This video will help you understand why putting yourself first isn't selfish but essential. You'll hear why protecting your mind, building your strength, and setting clear goals can keep your life from falling apart. This is your chance to take real action and change your story. If you want to stop regret before it begins, this is where it starts. Now let's dive in. Number 1. Take control of your habits before they control you. You don't lose everything all at once. You lose it little by little. A missed workout here, a skipped task there, a conversation you avoid, a promise to yourself that you break. And every time you let those moments slide, you're handing over a small piece of your life to something weaker inside you. If you don't get a handle on your habits, they will start writing your story for you, and it won't be the kind of story you want to live in. People talk about success like it's one big moment. It's not. It's not one decision. It's not one day. It's not one speech or one event. It's a daily structure. It's a rhythm. It's what you do when nobody's watching. It's what you do when you don't feel like it. That means your habits are everything. You are the sum of the small decisions you make every day. And if you don't take control of them, they start forming without your permission. Most people don't fall because of one giant mistake. They fall because of 10 years of bad eating, 10 years of not reading, 10 years of ignoring the truth about their situation. One habit at a time, they drift, and then they look up one day, and the job is gone. The relationship is broken. The confidence is lost. The body is weak. The dream is nowhere in sight. That's the cost of letting your habits lead the way without you in charge. You have to understand something about habits. They don't care what you say. They only care what you do. You can say you want to be successful. You can say you want to be healthy. You can say you want to build a better life. But if your daily actions are pointing in the opposite direction, your words mean nothing. You're either building or you're destroying. You're either strengthening or you're weakening. There's no neutral ground. You're either taking control of your habits, or they are quietly taking control of you. There are no excuses strong enough to save you from the habits that are slowly tearing your life apart. You may say you're tired, you may say you're overwhelmed, but those feelings don't stop the clock. They don't stop the days from passing. And every day you let your bad habits win, you're digging a deeper hole. You're giving away the life you could have built. You're giving it to laziness, to fear, to distraction. You don't even see it until it's too late. You don't need a perfect life to start taking control. You don't need the perfect environment. You just need a decision. One decision: to stop letting old patterns ruin your future. You don't need to fix everything overnight, but you do need to stop pretending like your habits aren't shaping your life, because they are. And they always will. Start looking at your habits like they matter more than anything else, because they do. You can't outdream a bad routine. You can't outwish a lazy lifestyle. If your actions are weak, your life will be weak. If your decisions are emotional instead of intentional, you'll stay stuck. You have to live on purpose. You have to choose discipline over comfort. That's how you gain control. And the earlier you start, the better. Because habits don't just affect what you do, they affect who you are becoming. They build your identity. They shape the way you think about yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're building confidence. Every time you finish what you start, you're building trust. And every time you let a bad habit win, you're telling yourself that your life doesn't matter enough to fight for. You have to fight for it. You have to fight to stay awake, alert, responsible. You have to push yourself to do what's right, even when no one else will. You have to train your mind to focus, to stay strong, to stay committed, and that takes work. It takes focus. It takes sacrifice. But it also builds pride. Real pride. Not fake pride from showing off, but real pride from knowing you're doing the work. If you don't have that pride, it's because you're still letting your habits run your life. And that's a dangerous place to live, because when your habits are out of control, your life is out of control. You may smile on the outside, but inside there's chaos. You may show up every day, but you're not really present. You're tired, you're unmotivated, you're frustrated, and deep down you know something's missing. That missing piece is your discipline. That's your control. That's your direction. Discipline isn't punishment. It's protection. It's what keeps you from falling apart. It's what separates average from excellence. It's what gives you structure when everything else is falling apart. When you control your habits, you build a life that can survive hard times. You build a life that doesn't collapse the moment something goes wrong, because you're not living on feelings, you're living on purpose. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. There's nothing easy about saying no to distraction, no to comfort, no to what feels good in the moment. But if you keep chasing ease, you'll never find peace. If you keep choosing what's easy now, you'll pay the price later. The price of regret, the price of failure, the price of living a life that could have been so much more. Start with one thing, one small habit that's been stealing your time, your energy, your potential. Maybe it's your phone. Maybe it's sleeping in. Maybe it's the food you eat. Maybe it's the way you talk to yourself. Whatever it is, face it. Take responsibility. Stop waiting for someone to fix it. Nobody's coming. This is your job. This is your life, and you've got to care enough to do something about it. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you get stronger. Every time you push yourself through the hard moments, you build resilience. And every time you say yes to the right thing and no to the wrong one, you are creating a life that works. A life that feels good to wake up to. A life that feels solid, stable, powerful. Not because of luck, not because of circumstances, but because you took control. That's what personal growth is. It's not about big words or perfect plans. It's about doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. It's about being honest with yourself, facing the truth, owning your choices, and deciding every day that you will not let your future slip away because of a few lazy patterns that you refuse to change. Take control now, not later, not when things fall apart, not when you've already lost what matters. Do it now while you still have the chance, because if you don't control your habits, they will absolutely control you. You may not feel it today, you may not feel it tomorrow, but one day you'll look at your life and wonder how it all slipped away. Take that power back. Start today. Your future is waiting for the right version of you to show up. Not the one stuck in old ways. Not the one making excuses. The one who takes charge. The one who does the hard things. The one who rises not because life is easy, but because life is worth it. Number 2, build your strength before life breaks you down. There's a time to wait and a time to prepare. And this is not the time to wait. This is the time to build yourself up before life puts you to the test. Because one thing is certain, life will hit hard. It doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't send a warning. It just shows up and expects you to be ready. If you're not strong when it arrives, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of preparation. You don't build strength by avoiding challenge. You build it by choosing to do what's necessary, even when no one is forcing you. If you wait until everything falls apart to try and become disciplined, you'll be too late. If you wait until your mind is full of fear to try and become brave, it's already over. You can't scramble for strength in the middle of a storm. You train for it while the skies are still calm. The days where everything feels fine are the best time to get serious. You have to stop wasting those days. Too many people only take action after things are broken. They only start paying attention when they're already in pain. They only start making changes when the damage is done. That is not strength. That is desperation. If you want to lead a life that doesn't collapse every time there's pressure, you need to build the kind of strength that lasts. Strength is not about being tough on the outside. It's not about acting like nothing bothers you. Real strength is quiet. It's built slowly. It's built when you decide to keep going, even though nobody notices. It's built when you wake up early because you promised yourself you would. It's built when you stop blaming others for your pain and start doing the work to change it. Strength is not loud. Strength is responsibility. Every strong person you admire has spent hours in silence pushing through the ordinary. They didn't start out strong. They started out unsure, just like you. But they made a decision. A decision to stop running from what hurts and start growing through it. They started training their mind, their body, their choices, not for a reward, not for praise, but because they understood that strength is the only thing that will carry you when life doesn't care how you feel. You don't know what's coming. You don't know how hard the future will test you. That's not something you get to control. But you can control how prepared you are. You can control how sharp your mind is, how steady your emotions are, how committed your actions are. That's in your hands. And it starts with doing the work every single day, even when you don't see results right away. Don't wait until your energy is gone to try and learn endurance. Don't wait until someone leaves you to try and find self-worth. Don't wait until the money is gone to learn how to work. You build all that now. You earn that now. You take the ordinary hours and you turn them into your personal training ground. Because the strength you build when no one is watching will be the strength that saves you when everything else is falling apart. The hardest part about building strength is that nobody applauds you in the beginning. Nobody claps when you turn off distractions. Nobody celebrates when you go to bed early. Nobody throws you a party for facing your weaknesses. And that's exactly why most people stay weak. They wait for applause. They wait to feel ready. But strength doesn't come from outside rewards. It comes from inner standards. You either hold yourself to them or you don't. You're not doing this for a moment. You're doing this for a lifetime. Because life does not care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're afraid. It doesn't care if you've had a hard week. It only responds to your actions. If you show up strong, life will give way. If you show up weak, life will bury you. That's the truth. And you need to accept it. Not to scare yourself, but to wake yourself up. The strength you're building is for your future family. It's for the people who will count on you. It's for the battles that haven't even shown up yet. It's for the version of yourself you haven't met yet. It's for the challenges you can't predict and the losses you didn't see coming. It's for those moments when you're on your own. And the only thing left to hold on to is the preparation you put in when things were still quiet. Train now while you have the choice. Because one day you won't have a choice. One day you will be tested. And when that day comes, it's too late to get ready. The decision you make today is what will show up in that moment. Will you break, or will you hold firm? Will you complain, or will you take action? Will you fall apart, or will you rise through the pressure? That answer depends on what you do right now. Start by getting honest with yourself. Where are you weak? Where have you let yourself go? Where have you been avoiding growth? Don't judge it. Just face it. That's your starting point. And from there, commit to building. Not fixing everything overnight, but building piece by piece. You add discipline where there was none. You replace doubt with preparation. You choose effort when it's easier to rest. You face difficulty when you'd rather escape it. You don't build strength by hoping. You build it by doing. You build it by acting. You build it by deciding that your future matters more than your comfort, that your values matter more than your mood, that your responsibility matters more than your excuses. You build it through consistency, through repetition, through choices that feel boring but lead to a life that works. You've been through enough to know that life won't slow down for you. It won't make things easier just because you're not ready. You can't ask life to be fair. You can only ask yourself to be ready. That's what strong people do. They stay ready. They don't beg for relief. They get better. They don't fall into panic. They fall back on what they trained themselves to do. And that gives them peace, even when there's pressure. Start where you are. Start with one strong decision today. That one decision creates momentum, and momentum creates change. Change creates belief. Belief creates new identity. And from that identity comes a life that's not fragile anymore. A life that can carry weight. A life that can take hits and keep moving. That's a strong life. That's the kind of life you want to build. If you've wasted time before, don't waste this moment. This is the moment you get to decide. Not with big speeches or dramatic promises, but with real action. Small, daily, personal responsibility. Build your strength while you still can. Build it while the day is in your hands. Because once life decides to test you, it won't ask if you're ready. It will just test you anyway. Number 3, protect your peace before chaos takes it away. There comes a point in your life when you realize that peace is not a gift that shows up on its own. It's something you have to build, protect, and fight for. If you don't actively protect it, chaos will find its way in. It starts small. A conversation that drains you, a distraction that steals your focus, a habit that throws your mind off balance. Then before you know it, your mind is restless, your emotions are on edge, and your days are filled with noise that you never asked for. Peace is not something you find by accident. It's a result of decisions made with intention. It's about knowing what you allow in your space and what you refuse to accept. If you don't define those boundaries clearly, the world will fill that space for you. And most of the time, it won't be with things that help you. It will be with pressure, with negativity, with demands that pull you in every direction, but the one you were meant to go. People will ask for your time, your attention, your energy, and they won't think twice about how much it costs you. That's not their job. That's your job. You have to learn to say no without guilt. You have to stop trying to please everyone at the expense of your own well-being. The more you chase approval, the more you lose your balance. The more you say yes to every request, the more you say no to yourself. Peace doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means that you are not carrying what isn't yours to carry. It means you are not reacting to everything that passes by. It means you know when to step away. Not every argument needs your voice. Not every crisis needs your presence. If you jump into every fire, don't be surprised when you feel burned out and bitter. You can't fix every problem. You can't help every person who refuses to help themselves. That's not cold. That's wisdom. You were not made to be available every minute of the day. Constant access does not equal deep connection. You have to create space in your life where your mind can breathe. You need quiet moments where you are not answering to anyone. That's where clarity grows. That's where your energy gets restored. That's where your decisions start to come from. Strength instead of pressure. You have to learn how to disconnect from the chaos. Turn the phone off. Walk away from the noise. Take control of your time again. You're not missing anything by stepping away from things that drain you. You're gaining your mind back. You're regaining your center, and that's more valuable than staying up to date with things that don't bring you peace or purpose. Your peace is your power. If you don't have it, you can't think clearly. You can't create. You can't lead. You can't grow. And you start reacting to life instead of living it. Every day feels like you're chasing something but never arriving. That's what chaos does. It makes you forget who you are and what really matters. It turns your focus into anxiety and your energy into exhaustion. You have to be honest about what's been disturbing your peace. Look at the people, the habits, the patterns. What have you tolerated that has slowly been stealing your calm? What situations do you keep walking into even though they leave you feeling empty and frustrated? If something costs you your peace regularly, you have to question why you keep allowing it. Not out of anger, out of self-respect. Peace grows in routines. It grows in clarity. It grows in environments that reflect your values. If your surroundings are full of distractions, disorganization, and constant urgency, peace cannot grow there. You need to create order, not perfection. Just enough structure that your mind is not constantly racing. That means starting your day with intention. It means cutting back on commitments that don't align with your goals. It means simplifying where you've made things too complicated. It's easy to blame others for the noise in your life. But most of the time, It's the choices we make that invite that noise. The meetings we agree to, the people we keep around out of obligation. The apps we open first thing in the morning, the news we keep absorbing, the arguments we keep walking into. These aren't just distractions. They're decisions, and you're the only one who can make a different one. It's not selfish to protect your peace. It's responsible. You can't give your best when you're running on empty. You can't serve others when your mind is cluttered. You can't be effective when you're emotionally reactive. Taking care of yourself first doesn't mean ignoring others. It means preparing yourself to show up for them with strength, with presence, with purpose. But that only happens when you're calm on the inside. You have to train yourself to stop feeding chaos. That includes the internal chaos, the overthinking, the comparing, the blaming, the worrying. All of that steals your stillness, and you don't get rid of it by hoping it goes away. You replace it with action, with movement, with systems, with new habits that quiet the noise and ground your emotions. That could be reading every day, journaling, exercising, going for walks without your phone, planning your day the night before. These small habits protect your mental space. When your mind is calm, your life feels different. You start solving problems faster. You stop second-guessing every move. You stop reacting with emotion and start responding with wisdom. You feel lighter, even though your responsibilities haven't changed. That's the power of peace. It doesn't remove your challenges. It gives you the clarity to handle them. But you won't find that peace unless you make it a priority. It doesn't show up when you've finally finished all your tasks. It doesn't arrive after the perfect day. You have to decide to build it in the middle of your busy life. You have to decide that your mind deserves protection, not once a year, every day. You have to build practices that keep you grounded when everything else tries to pull you off track. And once you have peace, you'll start seeing what you were missing before. You'll stop tolerating the noise that used to seem normal. You'll stop giving away your energy so easily. You'll stop rushing through your days like you're being chased. Peace gives you presence, and presence gives you strength. Not the kind that needs to prove anything, but the kind that stands firm even when everything around you is moving fast. If you've lived with chaos for a long time, peace might feel unfamiliar, but that's exactly why you need it. That's exactly why you have to fight for it. Not everything in life can be controlled, but you can choose to protect what gives you clarity. You can choose to filter what comes into your space. You can choose to create boundaries that support your emotional and mental well-being. That doesn't make you distant. It makes you wise. You've seen what happens when life becomes too loud. You've felt the toll it takes on your health, your decisions, your relationships. You don't have to live like that anymore. You don't have to keep chasing more while feeling less. You don't have to keep sacrificing your peace for things that don't truly matter. The moment you decide to protect your peace is the moment your life starts to feel different. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because you stopped letting the outside run your inside. Because you took responsibility for your own state of mind. Because you realized that peace is not found in silence, but in control. Control of your thoughts, your time, your attention. Number 4. Strengthen your mind before doubt tears it apart. Your mind is the control center of your life. Every decision you make, every action you take, every step forward or backward starts in your mind. If your mind is weak, you will question yourself in moments that matter most. You will hold back when you should move. You will shrink when you should rise. Doubt begins small. It doesn't always shout at you. It whispers quietly, planting seeds of hesitation. And if your mind isn't prepared, those whispers start sounding like truth. When your mind isn't strong, the smallest failure feels like a reason to quit. A little criticism can stop you for days. One unexpected change throws your focus out the window. You begin to feel stuck, even when the path forward is right in front of you. That's what doubt does. It clouds your vision, drains your energy, and convinces you that you're not enough. And if you don't push back, it grows louder. You don't wait to strengthen your mind when things are already falling apart. That's like trying to build a roof while it's raining. You do it now while you can think clearly. While your thoughts are steady, you prepare before life shakes you, because it will. At some point, something will not go as planned. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Results will fall short. And if your mind isn't strong, you'll crumble under the weight of things that were always out of your control. Mental strength doesn't come from reading about it. It comes from practicing it. From doing hard things even when you're tired. From staying calm when everything pushes you to panic. From trusting your effort when the outcome is uncertain. You don't build a strong mind by avoiding challenges. You build it by facing them. One decision at a time. Every time you push through discomfort, you grow your mental muscle. Every time you finish something you didn't want to start, you take back control. You also have to be careful what you feed your mind. If all you listen to is doubt, if all you see is negativity, if all you tell yourself is what might go wrong, how can you expect to feel strong? Your thoughts are shaping your reality every day. You cannot allow fear to dominate your inner world. You have to choose thoughts that give you clarity and direction. Not fantasy, but strength. Not empty praise, but grounded encouragement. Tell yourself the truth, but tell yourself the full truth. Not just the part that focuses on your flaws. People often wait for motivation to arrive. But strength doesn't come from motivation. It comes from self-respect. It comes from doing what you said you'd do, even when no one is watching. It comes from staying committed to your priorities, not your feelings. Because feelings come and go, but your future depends on what you do consistently. If you only move when it's easy, doubt will always be stronger than discipline. A strong mind is built in the moments when you want to quit. In the moments when it feels like nothing is working. When the doubts creep in and you keep going anyway. That's where real strength is built. Not when everything is working in your favor, but when it isn't. You become stronger when you stay focused even while uncertainty surrounds you. When you choose your goals over your fears. When you take the next step even when it's uncomfortable. You have to understand that doubt is normal. Everyone feels it, but not everyone listens to it. The difference is in the response. Weak minds retreat. Strong minds refocus. Strong minds refocus. Weak minds look for escape. Strong minds look for answers. It's not about never having doubt. It's about refusing to let it lead. You don't have to get rid of fear to move forward. You just have to stop letting it run the show. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen your mind is to keep promises to yourself. If you say you'll do something, do it. Even if it's small, especially if it's small. When you break your own word, even in private, you train your mind to expect inconsistency. But when you follow through, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, doubt starts losing its grip. Because you know that you won't back down. You know you'll figure it out. You know you'll keep going, no matter how it feels. You also need to surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Not people who make you feel weak. Not people who constantly complain and compare and settle. But people who are working on themselves. People who speak truth. People who don't let you stay small. A strong mind is influenced by strong surroundings. And if your environment is full of doubt and distraction, you're going to absorb it whether you realize it or not. Take care of your body, because it impacts your mind. Sleep well. Move your body. Eat with intention. The physical affects the mental more than people think. You can't think clearly if you're running on caffeine and anxiety. You can't lead with strength if your energy is always low. A tired body makes it easier for doubt to take over. But when your body is strong, your thoughts become sharper, your decisions more confident. Don't underestimate the power of silence and reflection. A strong mind needs space. It needs time to process, to rest, to realign. If your mind is always flooded with noise, you won't hear what really matters. You'll just react. But when you create time for stillness, you gain perspective. You stop rushing. You start thinking deeply. You make choices with intention, not pressure. Strength isn't always about action. Sometimes it's about listening deeply and honestly. Read good books. Study people who have done what you want to do. Learn how they think. Learn how they handle setbacks. Learn how they deal with fear. The more perspectives you absorb, the more tools you collect. Your mind grows when it's challenged with new thoughts, not when it's fed the same ideas over and over again. Don't waste your time on empty entertainment. Feed your mind with substance. Don't talk yourself out of opportunities. The more you allow doubt to make your decisions, the more regret you'll carry. And regret weighs heavier than effort ever will. You might not feel ready. You might not feel confident. But you don't need to feel ready to take the first step. You need to be willing to try. Every strong person you admire once stood where you are now. Uncertain, nervous, unsure. But they didn't let that stop them. They made the choice to move anyway. Your mind is your greatest asset. If it breaks, everything else follows. You can't afford to let it stay weak. You can't afford to keep giving your power to fear. You can't afford to waste your potential because of stories that were never true to begin with. Strength is available to you, but you have to choose it. You have to build it. Day by day, action by action, decision by decision. And once you begin strengthening your mind, you'll start noticing how different your life feels. You won't be so easily shaken. You won't keep doubting every move. You won't fall apart when things go wrong. Instead, you'll stay steady. You'll adjust. You'll keep moving forward with a calm sense of direction. You'll trust yourself, even when the outcome is still uncertain. And that is the kind of strength that doubt can never take away. Number 5. Work on your goals before they slip away. The biggest mistake people make is thinking there's always more time. They believe that someday they'll get serious. Someday they'll start working hard. Someday they'll stop wasting time. But someday keeps slipping away. Days turn into months. Months turn into years. And one day they wake up and realize the opportunity is gone. The time they thought they had has passed. The goal they once cared about doesn't even feel close anymore. It's faded. Not because it was impossible, but because they didn't act. Your goals don't wait forever. They don't stick around hoping you'll change. If you don't feed them, they fade. If you don't take steps, they stall. The energy of a goal starts strong, but it doesn't stay that way unless you work to maintain it. If you delay long enough, the dream that once gave you energy now becomes a source of guilt. That's why you have to act while it's still alive in you. When the desire is there, when the vision is clear, that's when you move. Not after everything is perfect, but while the fire is still burning. When you don't work on your goals, your life slowly gets filled with distractions. Things that seem urgent but don't really matter. Start taking over your time. Notifications, other people's problems, comfort, short-term rewards, all of it sneaks in when your direction isn't clear. And when you look up, you realize your days are full, but your life is empty of progress. You're doing a lot, but you're going nowhere. Working on your goals is not about massive leaps every day. It's about doing what matters even if it's small. 5 minutes of focus, 10 minutes of discipline, one clear task done with intention. That's how progress starts. Consistency matters more than intensity. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be steady. You don't need to finish everything today. You need to keep moving forward every day. A lot of people avoid working on their goals because they fear failure. But what they don't realize is that avoiding the goal is failure already. Not trying is losing by default. Playing it safe is choosing regret in advance. You don't grow by avoiding effort. You grow by stepping into challenge. You grow by choosing what matters over what's easy. Fear will always be there, but discipline allows you to act even when the fear speaks loud. You've got to protect your focus. If your attention is always being pulled away, your goals never get the best of you. They only get what's left. And what's left after the scrolling and the noise is not enough to build something meaningful. You have to take back your attention. Schedule your time. Prioritize what matters. Stop treating your goals like an afterthought, and start giving them the space they deserve. Nobody owes you progress. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't translate it into daily action, it means nothing. Your plans are only as strong as your habits. Your dreams are only as real as your discipline. It's not about how inspired you feel. It's about what you choose to do, even when you feel tired, unmotivated or uncertain. That's the moment that defines the outcome. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Working on your goals is an act of self-respect. It's telling yourself that your future matters, that your potential is worth effort, that your time won't be wasted chasing comfort. When you stop working on your goals, you're not just losing progress, you're sending yourself a message. You're telling yourself that what you want isn't a priority. And over time, that message erodes your confidence. But when you keep showing up, even with small steps, you build belief in yourself. You can't wait for perfect conditions. They don't exist. There's always going to be something in the way. Always going to be reasons to delay. But your job isn't to wait for things to feel easy. Your job is to move forward even when the path is uncomfortable, even when the schedule is full, even when you're not sure what happens next. That's where strength is built. That's where goals become reality. Don't compare your progress to someone else's. Your journey is your own. Their path doesn't define your pace. Focus on where you were yesterday and aim to be just a little better today. That's how long-term goals are achieved. One honest day at a time. When you look back after a year of that, you'll be shocked at how far you've come. But you have to start. You have to commit. You have to stop treating your goals like they'll wait around forever. Every time you delay action, you lose momentum. And momentum is hard to build again once it fades. That's why it's better to do something imperfect than to do nothing at all. Get moving. Fix it as you go. Adjust as you learn. But don't sit still hoping clarity will arrive. Clarity comes through movement. Direction is found by doing. You'll never think your way into progress. You act your way there. There's also something deeply personal about working on your goals. It reconnects you with who you are. It brings purpose to your days. It reminds you that you're capable, that your effort has value, that your time means something. Without a goal, your energy gets scattered. You begin to feel numb. You wonder what the point is. But with a goal, you feel alive. You feel focused. You feel strong because you're building something meaningful. You don't need anyone's permission to start. You don't need approval. You don't need everyone to understand. Most people won't see your vision until it becomes real. And that's okay. It's your responsibility, not theirs. Your future isn't their job. Your results belong to you. Own it. Take full responsibility for the effort you give, the choices you make, and the standards you keep. That's how you reclaim your power. Be honest with yourself. If you've been putting things off, admit it. If you've let yourself slip into distraction, recognize it. Don't hide from the truth. Face it and make a new decision. Decide that today is the day you begin again. Not with guilt, but with clarity. Not with pressure, but with purpose. Every day is a fresh chance to return to what matters. Don't let this day pass without using it well. Look around at your life and ask yourself, am I moving toward my goals, or am I just managing distractions? Am I being pulled by my vision, or am I being pushed around by my excuses? These questions might sting, but they're necessary. They're what break the cycle of delay. They're what wake you up before your dreams turn into regrets. Before what you once wanted deeply becomes something you say you used to care about. You don't have to do everything at once. Just begin. One task, 1 hour, one honest effort. Then repeat. Stack enough of those, and the results become undeniable. Your confidence grows. Your progress multiplies. The goals that once felt far away start feeling possible. Not because things got easier, but because you got stronger. Because you decided to take control. If something matters to you, treat it like it does. Make time for it. Defend it from distractions. Protect it from excuses. Your goals won't chase you. They won't force you to act. That's your role. That's your job. You are the one who decides whether they come to life or fade into memory. And that decision happens every single day. In the quiet moments, in the small actions, in the private commitments no one sees but you. Number 6. Fix your discipline before your life falls apart. When discipline disappears, structure breaks down. Without discipline, you wake up late. You push aside responsibilities, and your decisions begin serving comfort over growth. It doesn't happen in one day. It's a slow drift. At first, you just skip a few routines. You miss a few deadlines. You promise yourself you'll catch up tomorrow, but that tomorrow doesn't come. And instead of progress, you build habits that pull you further away from everything that matters. Discipline is the foundation that holds your life together when motivation runs out. Most people wait for the perfect feeling to get started. But discipline isn't based on feelings, it's based on choices. You don't fix your life by wishing, you fix it by acting. That's what discipline gives you. The power to act regardless of how you feel. When your life starts to spin out of control, it's not usually because of one big failure. It's the result of dozens of small compromises repeated over time. That's why fixing your discipline early is not just wise, it's necessary. If you don't develop discipline, you start leaning on distractions to cope. You fill your time with things that don't matter, because they're easier to face than the truth. You avoid the work, delay the decisions, and numb yourself with entertainment. Days go by and deep down you know something's not right. You feel it in your energy. You feel it in the quiet moments when the phone is off and nobody's around. That's the sound of your potential being ignored. And if you don't take it seriously, life will eventually show you what that costs. Discipline is how you reclaim your strength. It's how you get out of the trap of doing what's easy and start doing what's necessary. It begins when you say, "This is enough." When you stop blaming the outside world and start taking full responsibility for how you show up every day. You don't have to fix everything at once, but you do need to stop pretending your habits don't matter, because they do. They shape your future. They shape your identity. If your discipline is weak, your decisions reflect that weakness, and those decisions add up. You must become someone you can count on. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Not because someone's watching. Not because it's fun, but because that's who you are. Integrity starts when you follow through on promises you make to yourself. That's the quiet confidence that only discipline can build. It gives you something solid to stand on when life gets messy, when you're tired, or when things don't go as planned. People think freedom means doing whatever you want, but real freedom is earned through discipline. The freedom to choose your path, the freedom to build something meaningful, the freedom to move through life without regret. That doesn't come from comfort. It comes from structure, from routines, from doing the things you'd rather skip. That's the price you pay to live a life you're proud of. Without discipline, your emotions start running the show. You stop managing your time, and time starts managing you. Everything feels urgent, but nothing feels meaningful. You become reactive, always putting out fires, never building anything lasting. That mental chaos leaks into your work, your relationships, your self-respect. You start doubting yourself because deep down you know you've stopped showing up with the effort you're capable of. But the fix isn't outside of you. It's in your ability to choose what's right over what's easy. It doesn't take talent to build discipline. It takes honesty. Are you willing to sit with discomfort to create change? Are you willing to delay pleasure for a better future? Are you willing to do what needs to be done, even when nobody claps for you? These are the questions that rebuild your life. They're not loud, they're not flashy, but they're powerful, and answering them every day creates momentum that nothing can shake. Start with your mornings. The way you begin your day often shapes the rest of it. Wake up with purpose. Choose your first hour carefully. Fill it with action, not reaction. Do one meaningful task that moves your life forward. Don't check in with the world before you check in with yourself. If you've been with the discipline of a strong morning puts you in control, and that sense of control carries into the rest of your decisions. Discipline is also about saying no. No to things that look good now but lead you nowhere. No to people who pull you off track. No to excuses you've used for too long. Every time you say no to something small, you say yes to something bigger. You protect your vision. You protect your time. You stop handing away your energy to things that don't serve your growth. You don't need more time. You need more direction. You already have hours in the day. The question is, where do they go? Who do they serve? If you're not careful, they get stolen by distractions that feel urgent but offer nothing in return. Discipline allows you to reclaim your time and put it toward what matters. When you do, you begin to build a life that reflects your potential instead of your excuses. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for effort. Aim for progress. There will be days you miss. There will be days you fall short. That's okay. Discipline isn't about never messing up. It's about getting back on track faster. It's about not letting one bad decision turn into a bad week. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard without beating yourself down. That balance is what keeps you going long enough to see results. You have to ask yourself, where are you slipping? Where have your standards dropped? Where have you allowed laziness to replace action? Be honest, not to shame yourself, but to wake up. You can't fix what you refuse to face. Once you see it clearly, you can build new systems. You can create structure that supports your goals. You can train your mind to push through resistance instead of surrendering to it. Discipline also affects how you speak to yourself. When you keep breaking your own rules, you lose respect for your own voice. You stop believing your own promises. But when you show up with consistency, even in the smallest ways, your words gain weight. You begin to trust yourself again. That trust is what gives you the strength to aim higher and push further. Without it, you hesitate. With it, you move boldly. Fixing your discipline is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision, a moment-to-moment choice. Over time, those choices build a version of you that doesn't crack when life gets hard. Because life will test you. It will hit you with stress, disappointment, fatigue, and doubt. But if you've built the habit of showing up strong, you'll move through the storm with your foundation intact. A strong life isn't built on luck or perfect timing. It's built on consistent, disciplined action. That means doing the work when you're not in the mood. It means planning your day and sticking to it. It means choosing your future over your impulse. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to do everything right now. You just have to start. Begin where you are. Clean up your routine. Commit to one change and follow through. That's how momentum starts. And once it builds, you'll look back and realize how far discipline has taken you. Number 7. Prioritize your growth before others waste your time. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't arrive because you hope it will. It comes when you make a decision to take responsibility for who you're becoming. Life has a way of pulling your attention in every direction, and if you're not careful, you'll spend your entire day reacting to other people's needs instead of responding to your own potential. You start giving your time to conversations that don't serve you, people who don't challenge you, and distractions that keep you from growing. That's not life pushing you around. That's you not protecting what matters most. You don't need more hours in the day. What you need is clarity about where your time is going and why. When you allow others to set your schedule, they set your direction. And if you're not growing, you're shrinking. There is no middle ground. The person you become is built day by day through the choices you make about how you use your time, who you allow into your space, and what you focus on when you're alone. You can't grow if you're always available. You can't get better if you're always distracted. Your progress depends on boundaries, not just effort. Some people won't value your time because they don't value their own. They will keep you stuck in cycles that feel busy but produce nothing. They will fill your calendar with meaningless talk, endless drama, and constant problems that are not your responsibility. And if you don't learn to say no, you'll spend years fixing issues that were never yours to solve. Growth requires focus. It requires quiet. It requires reflection. You need time to think, to learn, to work on yourself without interruption. That means you must guard your energy like it matters, because it does. You are not selfish for putting your growth first. You are responsible. If you don't prioritize your development, you won't have anything left to offer anyone else. A stronger you benefits everyone around you, but a drained and distracted version of you helps no one. People may not always understand your boundaries. Some may even feel rejected when you stop showing up for everything. But you have to choose their comfort or your future. You can't have both. And the longer you wait to make that choice, the more of your life you give away. Growth requires intention. You don't stumble into a better mindset. You don't accidentally gain wisdom. You build it through repetition, through consistency, through sacrifice. That means carving out time to read, to learn, to practice skills, to face your weaknesses and work on them. You can't do that if your day is filled with shallow conversations and constant notifications. Every moment you give to something meaningless is a moment taken away from something important. The trade-offs are invisible until you look back and realize you've been standing still. People who grow stay hungry. They don't get satisfied with where they are. They seek challenges. They stay curious. They know that growth isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle. If you want to reach new levels, you must get used to spending time alone with your thoughts. You must be okay with stepping back from the crowd, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you know your future deserves your full attention. You can't hear your own voice when the room is filled with noise. You can't see your vision clearly if your mind is cluttered with everyone else's opinions. It starts with one simple question. What are you doing with your time that moves you forward? If the answer isn't clear, then something needs to change. You don't need to cancel everyone in your life, but you do need to make choices. Choose where you go. Choose who you spend time with. Choose what you feed your mind. If something doesn't help you grow, question why it's still part of your routine. If someone always brings you down, ask yourself why they still have access to your energy. You're not a victim of your environment. You create it every single day. Growth doesn't wait for permission. It shows up when you take ownership of your life. That means you stop blaming others for your lack of progress. You stop pointing at circumstances and start building habits. You stop waiting for support and become your own support. The truth is, you have everything you need to begin. You don't need approval to grow, you need consistency. You need courage, you need to believe that where you are right now is not where you have to stay. You'll notice something when you prioritize growth. People will treat you differently. Some will respect your focus. Others may pull away. That's okay. Growth reveals who's really on your side. The ones who want the best for you will support your boundaries. They will understand when you say, I need time for myself. They will celebrate your wins and challenge you to keep going. The rest will fall off, and they're supposed to. Not everyone is meant to be part of your journey. Not everyone will grow at your pace. And that's not your fault. As you grow, your standards rise. You begin to expect more from yourself, from your habits, from your environment. You stop settling. You stop tolerating things that drain you. That shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens one decision at a time. One book, one workout, one early morning, one difficult conversation. That's the path of growth. It's not easy, but it's always worth it. You are here to grow, to become more than what the world expects from you, to build something strong from the inside out. But that can't happen if you keep saying yes to everything and everyone. You must get clear on what matters. You must protect your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Growth takes time, and time that's wasted is growth that's stolen. You don't get it back. You can't rewind the years. But you can decide right now that it's time to change how you live. Give yourself permission to step back from the noise. Give yourself space to think. Give yourself the structure to learn. You don't need anyone's approval to take care of your own growth. You need your own commitment. Growth isn't always loud. It's not always impressive on the outside. Sometimes it's just you sitting down, doing the work, ignoring distractions, and showing up again tomorrow. But that's where the strength is built. That's where the breakthroughs happen. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you build a future with more peace and less regret. Every time you say no to things that waste your time, you say yes to things that sharpen your mind. Every time you invest in yourself, you become harder to shake. That's not arrogance. That's confidence earned through action. That's the power of making yourself your first priority, not your last. Because if you don't, no one else will. Number 8. Master your time before you run out of it. You don't get to choose how much time you're given, but you do get to choose how you spend it. Every minute of your life is being used for something right now. And the question is whether it's being used wisely or wasted without even knowing it. Most people are not losing because of a lack of talent or opportunity. They're falling behind because they're not managing their time. Time is the most valuable thing you have, and once it's gone, it's gone forever. If you don't start taking control of it, it will slip away while you're distracted by things that don't really matter. There's a price for every minute you waste. It might not show up today, but it will show up. It shows up in missed goals, forgotten dreams, weak habits, and the regret of knowing you could have done more if you had just used your time better. The clock doesn't stop for anyone. Life keeps moving forward. And if you don't stay focused on what counts, you'll look back and wonder where the years went. You don't get time back. You either use it to build your future, or you give it away to things that keep you in place. It's not enough to be busy. Everyone's busy. What matters is whether the things you're doing are pushing you forward or keeping you stuck. Most people fill their schedules with activities that feel urgent but aren't important. They wake up late, check their phones, scroll for an hour, rush into the day with no plan, and wonder why they feel like they're falling behind. You can't master your time if you're not intentional. You need structure. You need priorities. You need a reason to wake up early and a plan to follow through. Every day gives you another chance to get it right. But chances don't mean anything if you don't act on them. If your time isn't structured, your life won't be either. You'll be pulled by distractions, overwhelmed by tasks, and exhausted by things that aren't even aligned with your values. Start with your morning. How you begin your day shapes how it ends. Wake up earlier than you need to. Use that time for yourself. Read, think, plan, write down your priorities. When you own your morning, you take back control of your day. Time isn't something you find more of. It's something you create by removing what doesn't need to be there. That means saying no more often. No to the calls that go nowhere. No to the events that leave you drained. No to the routines that keep you average. Your future depends on the way you manage your attention. You must be honest with yourself. How much of your time is actually being used to grow your mind, sharpen your skills, or build your vision? And how much is being thrown away out of habit? When you take your time seriously, your life begins to change. You stop tolerating things that don't bring results. You become more focused, more aware, and more disciplined. You start to feel a sense of urgency, not panic, but purpose. You understand that every minute has weight, and you don't want to waste it. The people who win in life aren't always the smartest. They're the ones who use their time with intention. They set goals, they break them into steps, and they follow through. That's not luck. That's the result of time well spent. Distractions are everywhere. You don't need to eliminate all of them, but you do need to limit their control. Turn off what you don't need. Unfollow what doesn't inspire you. Remove apps that keep you scrolling without thinking. Create an environment where focus is easier than distraction. Your surroundings shape your actions. If your space is chaotic, your schedule will reflect it. You must design your day around progress. You're not here to be entertained every second. You're here to become someone you're proud of. One of the most powerful things you can do is track your time. Not forever, but long enough to understand where it's going. Keep a log for a few days. Write down how you spend each hour. You'll be shocked at what you find. Most people don't need more time. They need to stop giving so much of it to things that give nothing back. Time wasted is opportunity lost. Not just in business, but in health, in relationships, in peace of mind. You owe it to yourself to be better with what you've been given. The truth is, every minute of your life has value, but value doesn't mean anything unless it's used. Think of what you could become if you gave yourself 2 focused hours every day. 2 hours to study, to grow, to improve your craft. 2 hours to work on your goals without distractions. That adds up. That's 730 hours in a year. That's enough time to learn a new skill, to build a business, to write a book, to turn your life around. Most people waste those hours watching others live. You can choose to use them creating something of your own. No one is coming to fix your schedule. No one is going to manage your time for you. If you want to master it, you must take full ownership. That means cutting out excuses. That means realizing that the same 24 hours that build success stories are the ones you have too. It's not about how much time you have. It's about how well you use it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use the moments you already have. Build momentum with what's in front of you. You get to choose whether you live your life by design or by default. You either plan your day or you react to it. You either work on what matters or you get buried in what doesn't. There's no middle. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be committed. Use a calendar. Set deadlines. Block time. Remove distractions. Check in with yourself every week. Ask, am I moving forward? Am I getting better? Am I spending time on things that matter? The more you respect your time, the more others will too. People notice when you're focused. They notice when you're intentional. That respect builds trust. It builds credibility. It shows them that you take your life seriously, and they begin to take you seriously too. But it starts with you. No one can do this for you. Mastering time is a personal decision. It's a shift in how you think. You stop waiting. You stop wasting. You stop complaining. And you begin. Number 9. Raise your standards before the world lowers them. The world will often try to pull you down to a level that's easy, comfortable, and common. It will challenge your beliefs, question your ambitions, and tempt you to settle for less. If you don't set strong standards for yourself, those around you will slowly chip away at what you deserve and what you believe is possible. Your standards are like the foundation of your life. When they are high, you protect your time, your energy, and your values. When they are low, you open the door to disappointment, frustration, and missed opportunities. It's your responsibility to decide what you will accept and what you won't. Raising your standards is not about being perfect or unrealistic. It's about having respect for yourself and demanding better from your life. When you raise your standards, you start by being honest with yourself. What are you accepting right now that you know deep down is beneath what you want? Is it a job that doesn't fulfill you? Is it relationships that drain you instead of lifting you up? Is it daily habits that don't move you closer to your dreams? Take a moment to look at your life without excuses. Be clear about what you deserve. If you don't set the bar, someone else will. And that bar might be far too low. The moment you accept less than you deserve, you teach others how to treat you. You allow yourself to be pushed around by circumstances and people who don't have your best interests at heart. Your standards shape your choices. When you demand more from yourself, you reject what wastes your time or energy. You stop settling for distractions and start focusing on what helps you grow. This means saying no to things that don't align with your goals, values, or happiness. It means being selective about who you spend your time with and what you allow into your mind. It means choosing actions that build your character and skills. People with high standards don't let the world's noise dictate their path. They control the narrative and hold themselves accountable. It's easy to lower your standards because it feels safer. Lowering your standards means less risk, less failure, and less rejection, but it also means less growth and less fulfillment. The truth is, raising your standards requires courage. It means standing up when others doubt you. It means pushing through discomfort to become the person you want to be. It means refusing to settle for shortcuts or easy solutions. Every day you are faced with small decisions that reflect your standards. When you do the hard work instead of the easy one, when you choose integrity over convenience, you raise your standards. High standards are not about judgment of others. They are about respect for yourself. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Your standards are personal. They reflect your dreams and your worth. When you raise them, you attract better opportunities, better people, and better results. You become someone who inspires others to be better. You create a life that matches your vision instead of one limited by fear or laziness. The world is full of people who accept less than they deserve. Don't be one of them. Raising your standards also means being clear on your boundaries. Boundaries protect your energy and your focus. They keep you from being pulled into drama, distractions, or negative influences. People respect those who respect themselves. When you communicate your boundaries clearly, others understand what you will and will not tolerate. This creates space for you to pursue your goals without unnecessary interference. Boundaries are not walls. They are lines drawn with confidence and care. When your standards are high, you guard your boundaries fiercely. Self-discipline plays a huge role in maintaining high standards. It's easy to make promises to yourself and then break them. It's easy to dream big but fail to follow through. Discipline is what keeps your standards real and active. Without discipline, your standards are just words. With discipline, they become your reality. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It means pushing past distractions and excuses. It means honoring your commitments to yourself above all else. Your mindset is the foundation for raising your standards. If you believe you deserve great things, you will demand them. If you believe you are capable of success, you will take actions that lead there. If you let doubt and fear control your thoughts, your standards will fall apart. The key is to develop a mindset of growth and possibility. Replace negative self-talk with encouragement. Replace hesitation with action. When you think of yourself as someone worthy of respect and success, your standards naturally rise. Look at every area of your life and ask yourself if your standards are serving you. Your health, your relationships, your work, and your personal growth all depend on the standards you set. If your health suffers because you accept poor habits, your standards are low. If your relationships leave you feeling empty because you tolerate disrespect, your standards need raising. If your work lacks passion or progress because you settle for minimal effort, your standards are holding you back. When you raise your standards, you give yourself permission to expect more and to work harder for it. One of the most powerful things about high standards is how they influence your decisions daily. Every choice you make either raises or lowers them. Choosing to get up early to work on your goals instead of hitting snooze raises your standards. Choosing healthy food over junk food raises your standards. Choosing honest communication over silence raises your standards. Every small decision adds up to create the life you want or the life you settle for. It's not about perfection, but progress. Raising your standards is about refusing to accept less than your best. Your standards create your reputation. How people see you, how they treat you, and how they remember you depend on the standards you live by. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with confidence and purpose. They avoid those who seem uncertain or inconsistent. When you raise your standards, you become a leader in your own life. You don't wait for others to make things happen. You take responsibility for your success and happiness. This kind of person naturally attracts respect, trust, and opportunities. When you face challenges, high standards give you strength to persevere. They remind you why you started and what you are working for. They push you to keep going when others quit. They help you stay focused on your vision even when life gets difficult. Without high standards, it's easy to give up or settle for less. With them, you have a clear reason to push through obstacles and keep growing. They become your shield against disappointment and your guide toward success. Raising your standards is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. You must check in with yourself regularly and ask if your actions reflect your values. It's easy to slip back into old habits or allow the world's pressure to lower your expectations. You must stay vigilant. Keep your goals visible. Surround yourself with people who support your high standards. Read books, listen to speakers, and consume content that encourages growth. Make raising your standards part of your lifestyle, not just a temporary goal. When you start raising your standards, be patient with yourself. Change takes time and effort. You will face setbacks and moments of doubt. That's normal. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Celebrate the progress you make, no matter how small. Each step you take toward higher standards strengthens your confidence and motivation. Over time, you will notice your life shifting. Opportunities will come your way. You will feel better about yourself. Your goals will seem closer and more achievable. Raise your standards before the world lowers them, because no one else will do it for you. Waiting for someone else to push you or for circumstances to change means you lose control of your own life. Your standards are your power. They protect your dreams and shape your destiny. Make the decision today to live with intention and demand more from yourself. You have everything you need inside you right now. The only question is whether you're ready to step up and claim the life you deserve. Number 10. Improve your choices before regret becomes your story. Every single day, the decisions you make shape the direction of your life. Choices are the building blocks of your future. When you improve the quality of those choices, you steer yourself toward a life you can be proud of. When you allow poor decisions to accumulate, regret becomes the narrative that follows you. Regret is not just an emotion, it's a heavy burden that weighs down your confidence, your motivation, and your happiness. The way to avoid that burden is by focusing on making better choices now, before regret has a chance to take root. Improving your choices begins with awareness. Many people move through life on autopilot, making decisions without really thinking about the consequences. It's easy to slip into habits that feel comfortable, but don't serve your long-term goals. The first step is to pause and reflect before acting. Ask yourself, does this choice bring me closer to who I want to be? Does it honor my values and my dreams? When you build this habit of conscious decision-making, you regain control over your life. Your choices don't have to be monumental every time. Improvement comes from consistently making small decisions that align with your vision. Choosing to spend time learning instead of scrolling on your phone. Choosing to eat healthy rather than fast food. Choosing to listen and understand instead of reacting impulsively. These small choices compound into major changes over time. Every good habit you form is a choice that pushes you away from regret and closer to fulfillment. Many people avoid facing their past choices because regret is painful, but regret is only powerful if you let it control you. Instead of ignoring your mistakes, use them as lessons. Look back honestly and identify where you went wrong. What decisions caused problems? What could have been done differently? This is not about blaming yourself. It's about learning and growing. When you improve your choices today, you prevent tomorrow's regrets. One of the biggest traps that lead to regret is indecision or delaying important decisions. Putting off action often means missed opportunities. Waiting for the perfect moment rarely works because life keeps moving. The truth is, no decision is risk-free. Every choice involves uncertainty, but that's part of growth. By improving your decision-making skills, you become more confident in acting even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Taking responsibility for your choices empowers you to shape your story actively, rather than letting circumstances write it for you. Improving your choices means learning to manage your emotions. When fear or anger control your decisions, you often choose short-term relief over long-term benefit. It's natural to feel overwhelmed or frustrated, but letting those feelings dictate your actions leads to regret later. Developing emotional awareness allows you to pause and respond wisely. This can mean stepping back from a heated conversation, resisting impulsive purchases, or avoiding negative influences. Emotional control is a skill that protects your future self from unnecessary pain. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also improves your choices. The people you spend time with affect how you think and act. When you surround yourself with those who inspire you to be better, who hold high standards and who support your growth, your decisions improve naturally. On the other hand, toxic relationships and negative environments push you toward poor choices. Choosing your circle wisely is a powerful way to prevent regret and keep your life on a positive path. Education and knowledge are essential tools for better decision-making. When you understand the consequences of different actions, you can weigh options more clearly. Don't hesitate to seek advice or learn from others who have faced similar choices. Reading, listening, and observing can sharpen your judgment. When you invest time in learning, your choices become more informed and less driven by guesswork or emotion. Accountability is another key factor in improving your choices. When you hold yourself responsible for your actions, you create a sense of urgency and care about the outcomes. Accountability means following through on commitments and not blaming others for your mistakes. It means owning your story, the good and the bad. This mindset encourages thoughtful decision-making because you realize the impact of each choice. Time management plays a big role in the quality of your choices. When you rush or feel pressured, decisions become sloppy. Taking the time to slow down and consider options carefully helps avoid impulsive mistakes. Planning and organizing your day reduces stress and creates mental clarity. This allows you to choose actions that align with your priorities rather than reacting to distractions. Improving your choices requires self-respect. When you value yourself, you refuse to accept situations or behaviors that harm your well-being. This means making choices that protect your mental and physical health. It means saying no to anything that drags you down or keeps you stuck. Self-respect gives you the strength to choose better paths, even when they are harder or less popular. Sometimes improving your choices means breaking free from old patterns. It's tempting to repeat familiar behaviors because they feel safe. But if those patterns lead to regret, it's time to change. This might involve changing routines, habits, or even people in your life. Change is uncomfortable but necessary for growth. Each time you choose a new and better way, you rewrite your future and reduce the chance of regret. Patience is essential when improving your choices. Change rarely happens overnight. You might slip back into old habits or make mistakes along the way. That's normal and part of the process. What matters is persistence and the willingness to keep making better choices consistently. Every choice you improve today builds momentum toward a life where regret doesn't have to be your story. Visualizing the consequences of your choices can be a powerful motivator. Take a moment to imagine how your life will look if you continue making poor decisions. How will you feel in 5 or 10 years? Now imagine the opposite, how your life will improve if you make better choices today. This mental exercise helps create clarity and urgency to improve your daily decisions. Improving your choices also means recognizing your values and letting them guide you. When your choices reflect what truly matters to you, regret loses its power. Clarity about your values gives direction and purpose. It makes decisions easier because you can quickly identify what supports your goals and what does not. The more you improve your choices, the more confidence you build. Confidence comes from knowing you are acting in your best interest and making progress. This confidence reduces anxiety and self-doubt, creating a positive cycle of better decisions. As your confidence grows, so does your ability to face challenges and seize opportunities. Your choices have a ripple effect on others too. When you improve your decisions, you inspire those around you. You create an environment where positive choices become normal. This can strengthen your relationships and bring support to your journey. Improving your choices is not just a personal win but a gift to your community. Finally, understand that the power to improve your choices lies with you alone. No one else can decide for you. Waiting for permission or the perfect moment wastes precious time. Every choice is a chance to shape your destiny. When regret tries to creep in, remind yourself of the strength you have to choose differently and better. Each improved choice is a step away from regret and toward a life of meaning and satisfaction.